Good morning. Today is the 30th of January 2024 and I'm going to go through my trading plan for today. Pretty much a simple trading plan. Before we start, I'm going to start with the news today. High importance, coming in at 10 AM, that's the job openings. So be wary around 10 AM today. We do have some news, just happened at 9, so that's gone. And we've got crude oil a bit later on, but that doesn't affect us anyway. So 10 AM is what we're watching for. Okay, so levels for today. On my screen is the ES or the MES, which is the S&P 500 index futures. I trade the MES mainly because that gives me smaller contract size, means I can scale them up a bit better, and only moves a small amount, whereas the ES moves, I think it moves $12 per tick or something, whereas the MES is 10 times smaller, so it moves $5 a tick or something like that. Can't quite remember offhand. Anyway, so I've only really looked at levels today. I've had this level in place since last night, and it's the only level I'm really watching, and that is the pullback back down to the previous all-time highs. That's the area there. So 49, 34, 50, 49, 33, that area for a bounce. That's what I'm waiting for. We could, I don't know that one. My Alexa's kicked off. We could watch for a rejection over at the current all-time highs as well. 49, 56, 25 to 49, 57, 25, that area. Higher risk because we're still in an uptrend, and the break and retest would be the better play to watch for. So to recap, the high probability plays I'm watching today is the bounce if we get down to 49.36 to 49.34 area, for the move back up. Don't like a break and retest below that area. The only time I want to see it break down is if we break this trend line structure, and if we can get below the VPOC, which is the point of control, and that's at 49.60. Maybe I'll look for a break, retest below that area. But I've got some bounces as well. The next bounce, I've removed this by accident. It's 4900 area for a bounce. That's a round number as well, this area. If we get down that area, we'll be watching for a bounce. So if we do break down, we've got a target in place as well. Okay, that's it really. So just to recap, MES or the ES, higher probability bounce. Probably the only trade I'm watching for today is at 49. Let's fine tune it a bit. 49.32.50 through to 49.34.50, that area. So that's the bounce that I'm watching for. If we see a continued sell-off, then I'll be looking for a bounce off of that structure, off that trend line. Should be around 49.16 area, and then potentially at 4900 area. And maybe by the time we get down to there, this 200 moving average would have caught up, and these would have aligned with each other. We have this area of demand in that area, a support area, so that's a likely bounce area for me. And then if we see continued buy-in, then we can watch for the break above this area, the pullback to retest all-time highs or the previous, and for the move up. And a higher risk rejection could be on as well, as a double top. We could see it do something like that. So the double top, move back down. That's it. Let's go on to SPY. Pretty much the same moves. In fact, all the charts are going to be the same today. So as we find that area, so the previous all-time highs, that point, bounce at 489.10, 489 area for bounce, and then quite like this area for a bounce as well. 485 to 486 for a bounce, and that's only because we've got tops of candles, bottoms of candles. There's not much volume in that area though, so be a bit wary, but there's plenty of volume coming through. This is where the volume is, around this area here. No, we won't cross the bridge when we get down to here. We'll cover that, and I'm definitely get down there today. So that's it really. Watching 489 for a bounce, and again a break and retest of all-time highs. 491.44, 491.41 will be both a break and retest or a rejection with confirmation. Looking at the Qs next. There's a few more levels of Qs we can watch. Quite like this area here for a bounce. 424 for a bounce. Bit of volume below that area. Let's mark that, and let's mark that area as well. We've got this double top in place here, so potentially break and retest off yesterday's high into the all-time highs, or we could see, so it hasn't been able to put in a new high for a few days. It's coming down like that. This is an inverse head and shoulders pattern, maybe a neckline could be there, I'm not sure. Yep, so I'll be watching for a rejection off of the all-time high, 429.85, or a break and retest of that area. So again, wait for confirmation. And we've got the double, this area here, we can watch for a rejection or a break and retest as well. And again, the bounce down here at 424. So let's just put in level. And it's this entire area really. 423 to 424 for a bounce. Trying to find where the most interact with every year. 424 for a bounce, that's the area to watch. Looking at Nasdaq futures. This is the NQ. I trade the MNQ, which is the micro E-mini futures. So again, it's a bit like the MES. It's a smaller contract and doesn't have big wild moves like the ES does. Same before, we got the rejection off the all-time highs or the break and retest. Rejection or break and retest up there. 17,793, basically 17,800. And we could watch for a double top in that area as well. 17,730 for a reject. And then the bounce area has got to be around where this point of control is. So we've got big volume coming in here with this orange line shows as well the volume is, and I quite like if we get back down to this area, 17,550 for a bounce, and in theory by the time we get there the 200 moving average would have caught up as well, and we've had a big area of volume as an area of support. So that's the areas to watch for a bounce. So I'm going to mark it up, and it's a psychological number, 17,500. So this zone, this entire area. And then double top there, and then all-time highs. Looking at oil next. Looks like a lovely head and shoulders pattern forming. Left shoulder, head, right shoulder, coming back up to retest this area. This is one of my favourite patterns. Possibly looking for a short today. Looking at the hourly, this is the MCL. Look for a short, maybe coming into that area. And maybe just buy a contract. The rejection may be happening right now with a possible target is 200, and then we've got this area of confidence down here as well. Tops of candles, bottoms of candles. So 74.04. Possible target if we see it sell off. It doesn't move that far in a day. But the 200 is a reasonable target along there. Again, we've got tops of candles and almost bottoms of candles, and the 200. So 75.50 for bounce or target if we're taking the head and shoulders pattern. I'm going to be keeping an eye on this. That's the only pattern I can see really today. Gold is finally broken out. So might be looking for an entry here, maybe looking for a swing play maybe. So it's broken this area of we're watching. So we can break out, come back down and retest it. It could be watching for an entry. And that's the only entry I can see right now for that. Got this period to get over, bit of volume, but the most volume's behind it now. So the point of control is just there. Couldn't break through it, pulled back, couldn't break it, and now it's breaking out. Just putting a new high since yesterday. This is the Russell 2000 index. Hasn't put in all-time highs like the others, but don't like that big red bar. Hasn't failed to get really its teeth under that, but we're kind of at a, I would say it's a bounce area, very high risk bounce area there. But the better area will be this area was already marked up, and it happens to be the 50 moving average. So if it gets back down to 2000, could be looking for a likely long move. And let's have a look at the bigger picture. Look at that, right off that area. Confidence will mark that up anyway. Tops of candles there, kind of right through the middle. Bottoms of candles became tops of candles there. So bounce at 2001, I think, for that. Let's look at the Dow Jones. This is the YM or the MYM, currently at all-time highs. And I like the bounce probably from yesterday, previous day's all-time highs. Not too far from where we are. There. So if it gets down to 38,362, 38,360, possibly a higher risk bounce, but we are on the 20 moving average now and it's just bounced off of the bottom of that, so maybe that's gone. But we've got the point of control. All this area is a big area of volume as well. You can, if you look at the this volume control profile tool, normally I look at the single volume and the two next to it, which will give us an area, a region, but all this area's got high volume, so that's the area we're going to try. We'll want to try and penetrate it, so probably look for a bounce if it comes back down into this area somewhere. So 38,200, right on where the point of control is, just below that area there. And that's it. Quick look at Bitcoin. Above all the moving average now on the hourly. Look at the daily, I imagine we are as well. Oh, it's interesting on the daily. Look at this for volume. So we had lots of volume coming in when the ETF was announced. So this is a volume, increase in volume, increase in price. So it's nice to see that. Then we had low volume and low volume there. Increase in volume as it's selling off. And then volume just died. Pull back on decrease in volume and still got decrease in volume. So whether that's weakness, you can see the volume decreasing there as the price is increasing. Whether that's weakness or whether it's just resting, I don't know. But this is the area I've been watching for. I added actually when it got down to here. In fact, I added probably when it's down on that day there to my little. I've only got a very small position, but it's above all the averages. The averages are returning around right now, and it's just yesterday it closed above the 50 as well, which is quite important. So we'll keep an eye on that, see how we go. So lastly, let's go back to MES. There's been a change in the last few minutes, not significant. And just go to the daily, so we have the daily as well. We've got FOMC tomorrow as well, so bear that in mind. So today we may be just seeing a bit of a sideways day, and then FOMC will probably make the market move. So as we're pushing up, good to see that we have decreasing volume. So price is increasing, volume is decreasing. which is generally a sign of tiredness. Maybe we can expect a sideways for a day or a bit of a pullback, but one to keep an eye on. That's it, not much really to see. Back to the hourly. As I said, recap my levels for MES. This is what I'll be really watching for today. I'm watching for a bounce off of 49.33 to 49.34.50. This area here. I might keep a tight stop. If it breaks down below that area, then I'll try again on the 50. And we've got another area down here on this trend line as well. But that's the area I'm watching for a bounce. Previous all-time highs, but lack of volume up there though, so that's the only thing that worries me. However, we've got plenty of volume down here at this area here, which can act as a natural support or area of demand. And then I'm watching for a possible double top rejection with confirmation, so I'll be looking for a bottom top and tail candle. The candle looks a bit like that, and let's do it in red. I'll be looking for a candle that looks a bit like that with a top and tail, and I'll be looking for higher volume as well at the same time. And then I'll be wanting to try and take the candle that breaks down through that level there with a defined stop. Good thing about the reversal, you've got your defined stop, and it'll be a couple of ticks above the top. So that's what I'm looking for a reversal candle. That's it really. So just lastly, just recap: bounce, rejection, break and retest, and a possible bounce if we get down to 49.16. So the bounce areas are 49.16, 49.34.50, or 49.33.50, that area. And then we've got a bounce at 49.56, 49.57 for a bounce, all-time highs, or a higher risk rejection. Again, the daily trend, you can see that on the hourly trend. Any rejections will be against the current trend. And if you did that yesterday, then yesterday, look at that, not much volume, it just went sideways for the time, and then the trend kind of carried on. Look at that, big move yesterday. Okay, thank you for watching. If you like the video, don't forget to hit the like button and hit the subscribe to get notified tomorrow when I release the next live video. Every day at 9 AM Eastern Time, I'll go through my levels, and pretty much most of my levels have been 90%, probably more than that, accurate this month. So decent levels and decent plays. Been a